we were in Japan and we left and came back and spent a year driving up and down the coast of Australia looking for the best place and settled on the Huon Valley.
We try to find the area and we really can touch our heart and can go the stuff which you can let us self-sustainable the life. And then after that we took a ferry over to Demopol and we landed there. There we feel like we are home.
Corporate life is high-paced, high pressure, and sometimes devoid of values. And life here has got all of those things. You know, we live a healthy existence here. We can see the results of our labour, and it makes us happy. It's not stressful, not very stressful, and so it's just totally different from corporate life. And the only thing that we felt was keeping us in corporate life was money, and it turned out we didn't even need that. I mean, you can make a living here in the valley.
When we live in overseas, we always bought the vegetable meat from supermarket, and when we moved to the USA, we have a chance to live in the Colorado, and that time because we have been moved around, so I couldn't walk, so I tried to grow a little bit the food in the backyard. And first thing we tried is the carrot and capsicum, and David was so surprised the carrot tastes very good and capsicum actually and tastes really very strong flavor. So David, we will say, okay, when we retire, we will grow our own food. Yeah.
We wanted to make a sustainable property, so we wanted to have a variety of animals and plants living in harmony and supporting our requirements and maybe the requirements of the community around us. And so that's what we've been trying to do for the last 5 years. We came here to retire, and that was our plan, and make our sustainable property. Even if you don't know what you're doing, it's pretty easy to grow more food than you can eat. And so then we didn't really know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So one day we thought, let's cork up something that we know how to cook and just go to market. At that time, just for fun. And it was fun. And we sold quite a lot. And then it was sort of just a slow progression from there. You know, we went to a slightly bigger market and we sold more and we sold slightly more. And completely by accident and unexpected, suddenly we're nearly working full time in that business, and we're having fun doing it.
Yeah.
So why not?
And David and me, we're lucky. We are scared to turn our products to the food and earn a little bit money. But if people don't have this kind of skill, it would be very hard going.
I don't know if we're particularly good at raising animals or growing vegetables.
At least in the bar.
But it's pretty easy. I mean, it's quite amazing that you take a seed and you put it in the soil and then you put some water on it and then it grows. That was sort of a big surprise to me. I thought it would be more complicated than that, but it just works. So it's not too hard to grow food and raise animals. And Cassandra can cook. So that's lucky. That's a skill you don't pick up overnight. Yeah, lots of people are interested in the sustainable property that we have and how we raise our animals ethically, and very interested to see the animals and meet them. So it's very common that when we're selling the food, people ask us, can we come and visit your property? And we always invite people who want to come and have a look, but we like showing people what we're doing.
Yeah, we would like to encourage a lot of people to go on food and, if possible, turn into grow your own food and then turn into the food to sell in the market to earn a little bit income. Because the Tasmania, a lot of people company can't find the work, and we don't want to turn the Tasmania into an industrial. We want to keep it natural and have a good environment. So the only way is to grow and turn into food.
We're quite honest about it when we say we don't really know the proper way to do these things, but people are interested anyway. Because a lot of people aspire to doing something similar. And like Cassandra says, it's really, really good if Tasmania can develop as a place which is treating the environment well and growing things and creating things rather than damaging the environment and destroying it. I think that's why people are coming here as tourists and also as residents. They're coming here because they want to live somewhere which is a little bit closer to nature and a little bit closer to, they can live more closely to where their food comes from and have a hand in producing it. That's why people come.
Since we moved here, I really getting attached to the area, the Huon Valley. I can see why the people love it and never out of Tasmania. When we moved here, a lot of people said they never be out of Tasmania, and that time I couldn't understand, but right now I can understand why.
There's a pretty big community of people down here doing similar things. So that's how your attachment forms. Your friends are growing things and raising animals or producing something from their farm. So that's the community that we're in down here. So you're attached.
My niece, she live in the whole big city her whole life, and she came, she said, very quiet, nobody here.
Once we stopped using pesticides on our property, frogs moved back in abundance, so we can hear frogs all the time. And when we started planting trees instead of pasture, then the birds moved in. It's a little bit rainy today, so you can't hear them today, you can just hear ducks. But you wake up in the morning and there's birds everywhere, and it's lovely. I think humans are very adaptable. And when you're living in the city and you wake up and there's just the sounds of traffic outside, you get used to it so fast and you don't even realise that there's another way. I mean, once you start living out here and you wake up, the first thing you notice is just how quiet and peaceful it is. Then you start hearing nature around you, and it's such a nicer environment to be living in. A lot of people want the product of that lifestyle as well, like they want natural food, or they want to go and visit a farm, or they want to eat food at a market which comes from, it's been grown by the farmer, and they want those things. So now there's a real opportunity to do that and be happy, but also make a living doing it. So people are going to come for the lifestyle, and there's a market for the output of that lifestyle as well. The thing about it is the output of a valley is so much in demand that there's no point in being really competitive down here. You know, maybe in another world we'd all be at each other's throats trying to grow the best mushroom and trying to elbow out the other guys, but it's not like that. There's such a demand for what we all do that there's no reason we shouldn't just learn from each other and all get better, because at least in our experience, there's plenty of people who want our product and also the product of the guy next door. There's no need to be competitive or try to protect our knowledge.